G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the west side of the map, playing in the color purple as the Malians, we've got Crackety here. And on the east side of the map, in the color blue, playing as the Mongols representing my insanity, it's Zerden. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 6 in this series between these two players. We are currently on the pup playing the new civilizations. We're testing them out in a test of strength. Fellas, if you're watching this on YouTube, then right now there is a chance that Red Bull Wallalol is live on YouTube, on Twitch. I'm going to leave a link in the description of where you can catch the action, but all you need to know is there's $300,000 on the line for the best players in the world. So go check them out. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on the ground by the time you're watching this. I'm going to be in Heidelberg. I'm probably going to be eating some sauerkraut or some currywurst. I'm going to be chilling out with EGC TV's Pesty. I'm probably going to be hanging out with all the folks that you guys will be familiar with and having a great time. So join in with me. It's going to be absolutely lovely. But let's talk a little about this series, a little bit about where we are at the moment in it, and about this matchup. And can I just start by saying that this is my favorite color combination. I love purple with the blue. I don't know why, it just looks really good to my eyes. I feel like the purple and the blue, they changed the blue. They made the blue a bit more baby blue from what it used to be. Like the OG blue used to be a bit more, I guess, not sky blue, but it used to be a bit more like hyper blue, I guess would be the best way to say it. Like it was very, very blue. Like they maxed out the blue, but now it's a bit like a little bit more reserved, a bit more baby blue, and I love that. I think this new blue is beautiful. But also the purple, it looks absolutely great. So interesting to talk about the colors, but more interesting to talk about this right here. Let's follow around with one of the scouts. So you guys have got a bit of a moving screen behind you. This is where we stand at the moment. So the matchup that we've got right now is Malians versus the Mongols. And the reason why it is the Malians, because Crackety won the last game, and the last time he played one of the new civs was the Ottomans. And so with this, the way that it works is if you win the last game, you have to play one of the new civs. If you lost the last game, then you have to play one of the old civs. And the player who has no old civs left, you can only pick an old civilization once, well, they are the loser. That's the way that it works. So that is it. You've been clued in. You've been filled in. You know, Philip DeFranco, he always says, I'm Philip DeFranco and you've been filled in. I always love that line. That was so good. I mean, you got a name that's just born for that kind of thing. So good job to him. But let's talk a little bit about this matchup, because I had a bit of a theory about this matchup, about the way that it works. And my theory was that the Mongols, hypothetically, should be very good in this matchup against the Malians. And the reason why is because of the house. The house is a very cheap, very expendable unit or building. And the Mongols, they want to be burning down things. They want to be setting them on fire. And the house has only got 400 health on that. Compared that to a normal house, which I think has got 800 health. I think so. Maybe 1,000 health. I'm not 100% sure. And you're talking about some serious bounty over on that gold mine. Now, we can see that the response from Crackety is going to be immediately to go for the Donzos, and this is where I start to think the matchup gets very interesting, because the Donzo does very well in melee combat against the Spearman, because the Donzo has got extra armor, and it's also got a ranged throw, so it doesn't have to engage in combat with it, but when it does engage in combat with it, it's always going to be at a very strong advantage. So he's going to be on 1 Rax here, and we can see him taking advantage of the Stragglers, as we suspected. This is the new way to play when it comes to early openings. By the way, beautiful sheep coming in right there. That's going to be your thumbnail right there. This is 100% it. Straggler meta is here, and it is here to stay. It's great to see that Crackety is cracked onto this. The question is whether the other pro players are going to be on the same level as Crackety when it comes to catching onto the Straggler trees and the change that the developers made for the Stragglers. And you can see, unfortunately for the Mongols, it's not really that important, because you're just going to be finding a wood line and moving your town center towards it. But look at this. Zerden just giving up and realizing there's no point in me even contesting the Malian player, because all he's going to be doing is adding Donzos to counter my Spearmen, and then that's going to counter me. So why does that counter the Mongols so badly? Well, you got to think about it from the perspective of the Mongols. What does the Mongol player want to do? Typically, the Mongol wants to do one thing. He wants to force a response from his enemy in the form of an archery range, and he wants to go up to the castle age and make lances. Now, what does the Donzo do? Well, the Donzo prevents the first thing from happening. You don't need a response in the form of an archery range, because you have a barracks to respond. And the second thing is, well, you can't make lances in the castle age because he's already got Donzos out. So yeah, you can make lances in the castle age. By all means, go for it, buddy. You do it. I've got the response already prepped for you. So it's one of those things where it's like, look, you can do it, but it's kind of dangerous. So this is why I think this is such an interesting matchup. But by the same token, I think that if you look to try and play a different kind of style with the Mongols, that there's a lot of potential to be harvested from these pit mines. So I think maybe where we see players go with the Mongols is like maybe some sort of tower aggression on these pit mines, but a bit more delayed. Kind of like, you know, maybe sending a villager over here, but not sending any units, and then just, you know, starting with an outpost here, and then pushing in with archers. You know, maybe like 8 to 10 archers, and then horsemen. I don't know, some sort of weird push, but eventually the goal is to just collect the bounty for these houses. And there's a lot of ways that you can enhance your bounty as well. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, increase the raid income for igniting the building to 50 gold and 50 food. So maybe even players, we see them like look to get the raid bounty and then push in and really like go ham with the raid bounty. Whether that actually becomes meta, I don't know. There's some options there to be had though, that is for sure. Speaking of options though, Deerstone's about to come through now for Zerton. You can see that age up coming through at 5 minutes and 52, so a little bit of a delay on that age up. No outpost obviously went down. He did opt for some pastures at home, and we're going to see an archery range coming out, as we would suspect. But I would be very hesitant about playing this matchup in the feudal age as the Mongols, if you're just going to be focusing on going for archers. Beautiful. I didn't even realize this. We got a Donzo raid, and he gets the second villager. Oh my god, this is huge. I didn't even realize, I didn't even see this coming in. Hits the first of the villagers, takes it out with the Donzos, because keep in mind, they've got that extended charge distance now, so it's much easier for them to run down units. And we also see a second villager get taken out by the javelins. The Donzo meta is here. Welcome it, ladies and gentlemen. It is here to stay. And now we got the Mansa Quarry coming up over on the other side of the map for Crackety. Now, the longer that Crackety spends this game in feudal, I feel like the better it gets for him. He's got so many options when it comes to increasing his economy, when it comes to playing it out and having a strong second age. And the javelin throw is a big part of that. But you can see that the Donzos are applying pressure. Zerton, I think he might want to be going up towards that castle age, but obviously getting prevented from aging up here. And now those archers going to be coming out. Keep in mind, the Yam network going to be buffing up the movement speed when they're in that circle of the Yam. But the gold mine is so far away, they're not being affected by the Yam. And I guess that's the consequence of a little bit of misplacement. Maybe you could have brought that down a little bit closer so it's still affecting the villagers on the mining camp. But now the Donzo's getting involved with a little bit of action, getting in on top of the spearmen. Unfortunately, just throwing away the Donzos here. A little bit needless, to say the least. Archer's able to clean this up completely. And Crackety. Oh, look at Crackety. Look at what Crackety's doing behind this. Crackety going for a straight fast castle. You haven't seen one of these since the good old days. You haven't seen one of these since October 2021. This is what it is all about. I can see a chat or a comment in the chat like more feudal meta, and then it's like rolling its eyes. It's like, hey baby, I got a surprise for you. Yo, wake up, Phenom. The new Crackety here build just dropped, and I got some news for you, buddy. It's all about the Castle Age. What does he look to do from this? So we can see that the Castle Age, it's going to be coming in shortly. And Phenom are very happy now that the Castle Age is going to be coming through. But where does he go from here? I'm thinking, like, for me, it's all about the sofa, right? But we can see Crackety's like, I might need a few javelin throws. Just a few. He gets them out. So might need a few more javelin throwers. Indeed you may, Crackety. But keep in mind, he is still banking up resources for that Castle Age. He could cancel these at any time, and he's going to drop down a second archery range. I feel a little bit of a trap coming in. Look at this down on the south side. We have no villagers on gold, but they're just building an outpost. Don't worry. I was a little bit worried. I'm like, oh my god, is he committing to a heavy feudal here? Now, the response for Crackety, if he goes up to the Castle Age, what is the best unit that he can make? I'm thinking it's probably the Sofa. I think it's just Sofa and Veteran Archer would be the best thing. And he's already got scouts out at the moment with some Donzos. But now that pressure going to be applied. Can we take a look over on the other side of the map? I want to check in with Zerton and see. He hasn't actually picked up Raid Bounty just yet. But it's definitely a wise choice, in my opinion, to be going for something like that. But hold on a minute. Crackety looking to try and defend this position. Going to be successful as the double Javelin Thrower comes out for Donzos as well. Going to be able to defend this position and do so successfully. House not even threatened, not burnt, not set alight, no bounty going to be called into question. And look at the amount of javelin throwers that are coming out. Now, this is one of the things that you've got to be careful of. Don't overinvest in the javelin throwers, because behind this, Zerton is thinking about going to the Castle Age. Javelin throwers, they're good against one unit. Enemy archers. You don't want to be making too many of those javelin throwers, though, because realistically, you're going to end up empty-handed when those lancers do eventually come in. Javelin throwers now moving out. Horsemen also going to be joining the battle as well. Early Horsemen yet to receive their upgrade. We can see that the upgrade is coming through now. 5 seconds before that upgrade comes through. Looking to try and get it before the engagement. The charge is in. Not going to be successful. And now that upgrade does come in. Horsemen have been buffed up a little bit. Stats a little bit better for them. But for the most part, The push looks pretty strong here from Zerton. He's got that triple composition coming out. But behind this, working towards that castle age. And Crackety might get caught out a little bit here. He definitely needed to go into javelin throwers for the defense. But you've got to be careful about over-investing. And you can see right now, if he cancelled all these javelin throwers, he'd probably have the resources to age up. Maybe not exactly, but you guys get the point, right? There's a lot of resources that are being put into units right now that Zerton is baiting out of him. So definitely the Mongols, I would say, up at the moment when it comes to their overall positions. Deerstone's being moved, and it looks like we're going to have the next landmark placed down. It's going to be the step redoubt, and he just puts that one back in. Second pit mine. I just realized that it's come in, and it's a very safe, large gold vein that we've got towards the north, and this definitely favors our Mongo player. For the most part now, Crackety going to be pushing out and looking to defend this position. I'm not sure whether there's bounty for this house. I think this house was cancelled rather than killed, so I don't think bounty actually gets that. But we'll double check in now with that age up. 10 villagers on that one. Expect to see the Lancers. We can see it's actually he's moving into a barrack, so it's going to be double men-at-arm production. Probably the right choice in this matchup. Men-at-arms seem difficult to deal with as the Malians because you have to move into a unit that's kind of trash. It does have some uses, but for the most part, it's very, very niche and serves only as a counter unit. You don't want to make the unit unless you specifically see your enemy making men-at-arms. It's the only time you'd ever really want them. You don't want them against knights. You don't want them against any other unit unless you've got the age advantage. But we do start to see cows now coming out. And look at Crackety. Crackety, oh my lord, we've got ourselves a little bit of a farm happening right now. Something to witness. I think this might be the first time we've actually seen players invest their gold into food. This is 100% stonks right here. This is a Ponzi scheme of the highest order. Not really. I mean, it's definitely not a Ponzi. This is an investment scheme, and look, it's a decent investment. Let's just put it that way. No one is getting scammed right here, except for the cow. They're the unfortunate sod getting scammed here. But the age up going to be coming through for Crackety. 19 villagers on gold. I've got no idea where they are. There they are. There's 10 to the north, and then there should be some. It says he's got 19 villagers on gold. Maybe, is that just represented by the... I don't know. Oh, are they out here? I've got no idea. Where are these 19 villagers that you've got on gold? Are the villagers that are on food here, the gold counted? Oh, they're okay, never mind. Apparently that is them. Nice little attack, though, over on the other side of the map. Once again, missing out on it. Looks like more villagers going to be going down. 1 villager, 2 villagers, 3 villagers might go down. There they are. There's the 3rd villager that goes down. So Crackety taking out plenty of villagers this game. We can see he's got the villager lead up by about 7. Men-at-arms going to be moving out towards his position. Javelin throwers looking to try and focus down the men-at-arms. This is the correct decision to be going into men-at-arms here. It just feels like he might not have enough men-at-arms, and look at the javelin throwers just throwing down hard and focusing their javelins. Men-at-arms moving to the front line, and Crackety might be in a pretty decent position behind this. The Grand Fulani Corral going to be coming up for Crackety as well, so he's looking to focus on that one base economy. A little bit of a distraction coming in, and counter-attack over on the pit mine in the north. Once again, we're going to double-check it. It looks like raid bounty still not yet researched, but for the most part, Crackety here going to be okay with losing out those military buildings, or those buildings, those houses in the north. But this is what I was talking about in the early game when it comes to your counter of certain civilizations, and why I think the Malians might struggle a little bit up against the Mongols. And it's going to be because throughout the game, the Mongols are just going to be able to focus down these pit mines. You really have to look to defend them. You might even have to start thinking about walling them in, because they're such a potent potential income source for your enemy. And we can see him just continuing to collect right now the bounty. Just continually, and more men-at-arms being rallied in. He does have +1, so it's going to help him out a little bit. Crackety yet to pick up +1 range attack. Now looking to focus down villagers. Look at Crackety being so cheeky with these villager focuses. The skirmisher unit, aka the javelin thrower, very, very nice. And now, the Khan running in. You came to the wrong neighborhood. Actually, you kind of came to the right neighborhood. Look at that. He soaks 2 hits, but he does go down. Khan goes down. Age up comes through. Crackety now in the 3rd age as well. Still focusing down the houses in the north. He's getting so much value from these bounties up in the north. There we go. More resources going over towards him. 25 food, 25 gold. Can't you just, it would have paid itself off right now if he'd picked up raid bounty. That's really the power of the raid bounty, but he is going to be able to close this out completely now on the south side. We can see that +2 balanced projectiles, or rather wedge rivets, was going to be coming in eventually for him, and looking to sort this one out. It took some time though. He lost a lot of villagers. He's down 9 villagers at the moment. we'll ride on board with him and see what the line of sight's looking like as he continues cleaning up the houses in the north and picks up these raid bounties. There we go, 25 food, 25 gold, again coming down. The dangers of going, I mean, Malian players beware. Not only are your houses going to be destroyed here, but in addition to that, you're going to be handing over more and more bounty to your enemy. 25 gold, 25 food. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 will go down. So you're handing over, what is that? Like 300 gold, 300 food to your enemy right here. It is a huge amount of resources that you've just given to your enemy. A massive amount of resources. That is insanity. How many resources that is to the Mongol player. And I think that's part of the reason why in this matchup, I think the Mongols are quite decent and have got a decent advantage. But now we do see the second town center going to be thrown down here by Zerton. He's going to look to try and catch up on that villager count. It's going to take some time before he gets there. Expect at least 3 to 4 minutes before he's back to parity. When it comes to relics, though, he's picked up 3 so far. We can see he's got 3. There's still 2 out there on the map, the 2 safe ones for each respective player. On the other side of the map, though, we'll ride on board with Crackety for a little bit and see how he's doing. He's taken out plenty of villagers from his enemy, and now the Sofa going to be coming to the wrong neighborhood, and Crackety might be in a little bit of a difficult spot here. He's got plenty of economy behind this, but the question is going to be whether his military is going to be able to match it. The production not looking the prettiest. He's got double stable, double archery range, and a single racks. Actually, triple stables. And he's picked up all the upgrades, so he knows what he needs to do. He's going for javelin throwers. I think this might be the wrong decision. Ideally, you'd love to see him just go for full archers, get those the poison arrow upgrade. But now moving out with the Imam, looking to actually pick up the relic of his enemy rather than focusing on his own safe relic, but it's not even going to matter. Imam's going to come up empty-handed, and he should realize that. So his mini-map will display that there are no relics available to be picked up. So all 5 relics are going to be going over to Zerton. So a nice little bit of passive income. Once again, hitting this gold vein. Such a struggle for Zerton today on this gold mine. He's lost endless amounts of villagers here and loses another one. 12 villagers total. And I think every single villager has been a gold mining villager or gold gathering villager. So very unfortunate for him. But the Khan going to be spotting out that mosque and going to be laughing a little bit. Wololo up towards the north. Beautiful sound. I feel like we get that Wololo in surround sound as the Imam does come in. Actually, so that is the second Imam. So there were 2 Imams, so I do apologize. Wheelbarrow finally coming in for Crackety. We talked a little bit earlier about how Wheelbarrow has fallen out of favor with a lot of these players. And look, Zerton's still not yet with the Wheelbarrow. So neither of these players favoring the Wheelbarrow in these games. So if you're playing on the new patch and you're wondering, is Wheelbarrow worthwhile of an investment? These players do not think so. They do not think so at all. Another raid coming in over on the west side. Really looking to be aggressive. Another Wololo in the base. Looks like the javelin throwers are going to be the target here, but little does he know the javelin throwers are going to be able to outrange the prayer or the monk. Where? Oh, it's springwood emplacement. Okay, I was going to say, where did that guy die from? And then I realized very quickly where it was that he died from. So now I'd love to see sofas coming out, and we do see sofas coming out, but unfortunately, a little bit dangerous. Now, the crossbow gets 9 damage against heavy, and these are heavy military, or heavy melee cavalry, rather. So it is going to be a bonus damage that they do get. So crossbows, men-at-arms will be effective here. So maybe Mangonel Sofa might be the way to go in this matchup. So you'd expect to see a springald response come out eventually from Zerton. But now that villager count has finally closed up. Not only has Crackety been losing a couple of villagers, but we've also seen Zerton building a few more with that second town center. Sacred Site in the south has been taken by Crackety. And now that push going to be coming in. He's got a nice little bit of a surround, and all of a sudden he reckons he can take this. We head into the cinematic mode to witness the sofas and see exactly if they're going to be able to dish out the damage that they so desire. Beautiful little surround he's got here, but plenty of men-at-arms mean that they're going to be soaking up a lot of the damage here. Make sure that the backside is focused down. And look at this. He's actually focusing down the crossbows on the back with the javelin throwers. And the Sofas are maintaining a pretty good front line. He's also got I was going to say the Shuttle Warriors, but no, they are the Musafati Warriors coming in. The Shuttle Warriors was Age of Empires 3. And now, for the most part, I mean, more and more spears coming in. These are only hardened spearmen, so they are going to get very easily taken out. But they do a decent job of holding on. And now we see that, rather, they weren't even hardened spearmen. They were just normal spearmen. Now they're hardened spearmen. But Zerton manages to hold on, and the score's relatively even between these guys. Less than 100 points between them at the moment. So very, very even. When it comes to their positions, who would you give the advantage to? You'd probably give the advantage to Crackety. I feel like the longer this game goes on, the better it gets for the Malians. I do think of them as a late-game civilization just because of the passive gold and the passive food that they generate. We can see right now as we switch it over to the food generation that they're producing about 800 food a minute at the moment with the Grand Fulani Corral here. It's going to be buffing these cows up even more. You can see 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 cows, so he's missing 3, I think, if my math serves me correct. Yeah, he's missing 3 at the moment, but there they are, nice and fat. So he's yet to put them in a pen, but once he does, those guys are going to be pulling in a whopping 46 food a minute, so it's not too bad. But now we've got ourselves a little bit of a timing window right here. Crackety did push in for a brief second there, said, I might have a chance here, but realizes he's got to back out. The economy looking pretty big. At the moment, Crackety's sitting on about 2,500 resources a minute. Compare that over to Zerton, who's on 2,800, 2,900 if you include the stone. So pretty even on the economy. Zerton definitely ahead with regard to those two. Keep in mind, he's got 4 relics out of the 5 in total. Also got that second town center that's going to be pumping out villagers now, so he's going to scale into the late game. Also got the pastures, which are going to give him the sheep, which are probably one of the best food sources that you can have throughout the game when it comes to the longer these games go. Now we've got double pit mines up towards the north, going to be a little bit easier to defend, working through these larger gold veins. We'll check on board with Crackety and see how he's doing as all those upgrades start to come in. Warrior Scouts being completed. All the +1 all the +1 economic tech's going to be coming in now, including forestry. Also looking to pick up veteran spears, and now up towards the north, an outpost going to be dropped down here. He's also looking to neutralize the sacred site and also sending Sofa towards the enemy, trying to find some villagers to raid. Not going to be able to find anything. There is double gold mine out here, so you'd love to see a keep being dropped down here just to protect these 2 gold mines. This is essentially a big gold vein. But hold on a minute. We got a push coming up the middle. Plenty of spears, plenty of crossbows. So a beautiful composition. And this is where I was talking earlier about the composition I'd love to see Crackety go for. Instead of going for javelin throwers, to go into archers. I feel like Sofa plus veteran archers is going to be the way to play the Malians in the mid game. I think it's very strong just because you've got a lot of buffs for the Malians. Most importantly, you've got the poison arrow. You've also got an extra buff coming through from the blacksmith, if we can find it, as the raid gets dropped down, and he does a fair bit of damage at the same time towards the north. A little bit of a push coming in. There's a +2 attack damage bonus that you get for your archers in the castle age, so you can really buff up their damage. I think it works out to be like +3 or +4 damage, well, +5 damage per shot for them. But once again, attention drawn towards the north, and Crackety doesn't want to let this fly. Needs to try and take out this push before it dishes out any more damage. He's cleaning up villagers, though. He's up to 20 worker kills throughout this game, and now neutralizing the sacred site in the south. Khan moving across the map once again. Going to be looking to try and pick up some enemy units. Veteran archers have come out. We do see poisoned arrows has been researched. We'll look for that blacksmith. I don't know exactly where that blacksmith is. Where am I? Oh, it's right there. God, Drongo, you're blind. This tech right here, precision training. An extra 2 damage for your donzos, your archers, your javelin throwers, or at least an extra 2 range damage for your donzos. So that's when they're throwing out their javelins. But it looks like that attack towards the north was pretty much just repelled by the houses for the most part. Now a little bit of a counterattack on the south once again. He's done a great job just hitting this gold mine repeatedly, but fortunately that gold mine has now run out. So it means that he's going to have to think about other areas that he dedicates his life to. Step it out, moving out to the next gold mine. And once again, this is a beautiful place for a keep. If you can fit a keep in between these 2 gold mines, not only is it going to be looking reminiscent of a set hosted by Zach Galifianakis, but it's going to be reminiscent of a beautiful keep. Look at that. That is just an absolutely perfect keep spot. A rock and a hard place. But now that military mass starting to look good for Crackety. Moving out with the archers. More outposts coming in. Another counterattack on the south side. Town Center going to be able to fire down towards it, but keep in mind it's got plenty of ranged armor. Warrior Scout's going to be spotting this one out, and we're going to enter into the cinematic mode as Crackety here tries to test his defense. Donzo's moving forward, looking to repel off those hardened spearmen. At the same time, we've got an attack speed arrow going to be thrown out here. Veteran archers on the backside here looking to push back, and this push is looking very, very solid from Crackety. He's down on score about 600 points at the moment, but the javelin throwers together with the archers going to be able to work through this large mass. He might have to fall back away from this towards his reinforcements. A lack of sofa is definitely going to hurt for him here. Just like a living room, you really want to be making sure that you've got an adequate amount of them. But the javelin throwers still managing to hold on strong for the moment. Keep in mind, he's got Donzos as well looking to back him up. But the men-at-arms, together with the spearmen on the front line, are going to be more than enough. And look at just this mass here. He really needs a mangonel to answer to this. It feels like at the moment there's just nothing here that he can really hold on to with this. And do we see a mangonel in queue? No, we don't see a mangonel in queue. There's no concept of siege, but there is a keep going to be coming down. That might be able to hold on this position for the moment, but he could be looking to go up towards the north and could really put him in a bit of a difficult spot. Crossbows, archers on the backside, throwing off, and now we see those veteran Sofa looking to come through as well. Managing to hold on for the moment. The keep is getting up. He's buying himself time with this. 15 villagers working their way through this. but we see expansion down towards the south side as more outposts come up on gold mines. As slowly we see Crackety is getting strangled in this matchup against the Mongols. It's getting tougher for him, and now getting forced back underneath the town center with the keep about to arrive. Everybody gets on out and dodges. Villagers getting pulled a bit preemptively. The keep does eventually get up, and 10 villagers jump on inside to help out with a little bit more of that damage. And now more and the trench is now starting to get built. So more and more outposts coming up on the front line. Double traction trebuchets. Keep in mind, traction trebuchets were recently buffed. They now have an extra tile of range. 3 traction trebuchets is going to be more than enough to break through this keep, or at least it should be enough to break through this keep. And you can see that Crackety doesn't want to allow this to stick. He says, no, no, no. Get on out of here. Trebuchet firing off a boulder into no man's land by the look of it. He's going to have to fall back away from this position. A single mangonel would have been amazing here, but keep in mind there is improved siege working or siege engineering here from our Mongol player, which means that he's going to be able to get Springles at the drop of a hat. So even in the event you go into a mangonel, he's just going to fall back away from the mangonel. You maybe get off one good shot, and then he gets a Springled out, and it's all over Red Rover for you. Trebuchet now firing down upon that keep. He's going to need to pull villagers here to repair this, but it does buy Crackety a little bit of time. We see military school now coming through for him. We'll take a look and see whether he actually picked up. He still hasn't picked up precision training. You got to wonder exactly why this is. It's a huge amount of damage, and maybe he just doesn't realize that it's something. Oh, it increases the damage of the Donzo by 6. God damn, dude, those Donzos going to start throwing quite literal huge javelins. Sacred Site victory now being approached, and Zerton looking incredible in this series as he looks to try and take out another game of Crackety, where Crackety is on the new Civ and Zerton is on one of the OG Civs. 9 minutes and 45 seconds as we get an absolutely massive Sacred Site neutralized, or neutralize the Sacred Site coming up on the screen. And Crackety holding on for dear life, Springled on the backside just in case a mangonel comes out. He's not too worried, but look at the massive units that we've got back here. Archers, crossbows, constantly getting thrown out here. Zerton just in an incredible position. The Sofa trying its best to contest. Javelin throwers also dishing out damage, but the Javelin throwers in these numbers, it's just one of those things where there's so much overkill, and it really makes me feel like maybe Javelin thrower needs to be nerfed in the early game, buffed in the late game, because the overwhelming mass here from Zerton is just massive at this point. There's no real way that Crackety's going to be able to overcome this, and you can see him trying to heal up the keep at this point in time, but it's just a huge mass, and he's going to be able to focus down these units individually. Springled's now moving forward as well, just in case a mangonel gets any ideas about coming out. 8 Sofa in queue for Crackety here, but with the keep going down, it's only a matter of time until good game gets called here, as Crackety is increasingly looking like he's on the ropes. Down about 2k score, at least 1.5k score at the moment. The Sacred Site victory is fast approaching. 8 minutes to go. 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go. A couple of Sofa onto the Springlet, so he could be thinking about a mangonel. That would indicate that. You can see how quickly they get cleaned up. First Sofa goes down. Second Sofa going to get taken out. The keep goes down. And with that, the Trebuchet is now going to be moving up to the next target, which may be one of these landmarks. Indeed, it's going to be the town center who begins to focus down. Second landmark is going to be the Mantiquarian. Good game gets called, and with that, all the cows leave the pens. And Crackety here going to be tapping out in this game, and once again, a victory going over to the OG Civs. So far in this series, I think this has been our 6th game. We have seen only one new Civ win. Actually, the first game was a new Civ versus new Civ, so that really doesn't count. But we've only seen an OG Civ lose once before, and I think that was the Chinese that we saw. So we'll take a look at the villager count here. You can see pretty steady throughout the game. Zerton did eventually catch back up and surpass his enemy. When it comes to the military count, 147 units killed versus 193. Fellas, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you go and check out Red Bull Walla Lol. It is being played right now. They're probably live right now. Maybe I might even be casting right now, so go and check it out. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. But before we do, I'll flash this one up on your screen. The next game that is coming up, it is going to be Zerton on the Ottomans. The question is which civilization Crackety is going to be throwing out. That's going to be his 4th civilization, his 4th OG civilization that is down the drain for him. So he's going to have to be very careful from here on in how he plays it out. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, we'll see you then.